All right, let's have a look at our newspapers this morning. We're taking a look across the papers in the continent, and our first paper this morning is The Punch. On the front page of The Punch newspaper, the big story says, ex-CJN to get 2.5 billion benefits, Senate begins corruption probe. This is the story we just talked about. The retired CJN entitled to gratuity that is 300% of 3.36 million naira annual basic, says investigations. His earnings will be intact. He is entitled to official cars, houses, says NJC source. Muhammad battling condition before appointment. Visits Dubai for treatment, says another anonymous source. We'll be looking into this. It's one of our top stories today. And still on the Punch newspaper, dollar hits 615 naira. Top to bottom. Local raw material sourcing drops to 54%. At this rate, everyone is advised to start looking for means of earning in dollars. I don't have that means yet, but when I do find it, I'll come and share with you, because at this rate, it's very scary to think about this dollar that we once complained when it hit 185 naira.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're at 615. And the question is, how are we surviving? Okay, Niacom cancels Niger Insurance Standards Alliance licenses. That's on page 27. Reps grill NNPC, NMD, PRA, marketers over rising petrol and diesel prices. Aggrieved aspirants reject INEC lists, begin multiple court cases. Of course, we knew that the many election tribunals and rejection of election results was going to come up. It's election season. That's what's expected, which is why it's very important. The people who are sort of the preservers of justice in terms of the CJN, the justices, the judges, the lawyers, their role cannot be overemphasized. Their role as an unbiased, party, cannot be overemphasized. 13 marginal fields dormant. Federal government awards 57 to new investors. Will apply diplomatic pressure to help Ekweremadu, says reps. Well, we can see a photo here of Edo pupils laying on bare floor. Community seeks government's help. Osage, can you see that story?
Yes, I can. And I'll have to speak to the state governor about it.
Because that's your state.
Yes.
We can't be having this. It's not allowed. And you're here on TV doing buga.
I apologize.
All right. Ekiti workers give Fayemi 21-day ultimatum over unpaid entitlements. Oyo Deputy Governor sues Assembly over impeachment move. Lagos airlifts 1,598 pilgrims, promises refund. Strike. Abiodun meets Labour today, laments cash crunch. Sexagenarian dies as friend steals ATM card, withdraws 700,000. I'll come back to this story. Final story here. Exercise restraint, Buhari tells aggrieved senators. Osalge, we're seeing here a sexagenarian dies as friend steals ATM card and withdraws 700,000. I don't have the details of the stories on page 4 and 5, but it's very sad to see that sometimes here his ATM card was stolen. I once was in a bank and the lady had just gotten robbed and she came to the bank to complain. She needed them to block her account because she thought they had withdrawn some money. The way she was frantic, the bank officials had to lie to her at first that her money was intact because they wanted to be able to manage the situation. I then found out later that they were lying to her because she had gone, it had become a very messy situation. Yeah. Her money was gone. It just breaks my heart to think about the lengths that people will go to try and make their own ends meet at the detriment of others.
Steals it.
Yeah, very, very sad.
Sad. Let's move away from the Punch and let's go to Uganda and see what we can find on the Daily Monitor. There, teachers, government back to negotiating table. Yes, of course, here in Nigeria, there's also conversations on teacher strike and, of course, ASU strike. The pain teachers go through, and that's on a new report. Janet to teachers, you betrayed government. More on that story here, of course, or rather more on the Daily Monitor. Homes, creative ways to utilize scrap tiles. And also, Professor Dranzoa had education in her veins. A few more on the Daily Monitor. Top police officer sent to SFC school. And also, police recover gun used in Mukono robbery. Those, apparently are the only stories you can find on the Daily Monitor this morning. And you can catch up and see and read more on them and see what exactly they are talking about.
And let's move over from there to the Blueprint, coming back here to Nigeria. On the front page of the Blueprint, Buhari halts defection of 22 aggrieved senators. Of course, that same story made front page on the Punch newspaper. Blueprint still 24 hours after quitting. Senate orders probe of ex-CJN Tanko. Everyone's talking about this. Why I couldn't implement 2014 confirmed report, says Jonathan. And we also have here, federal government to shut down filling stations selling fuel above 165 naira. So if the federal government shuts down these filling stations that are selling fuel, I do hope, I mean, I don't know what their grievances are. The last time we checked, I know that the IPMAN did come out to speak about the fact that it's become very difficult for them, very expensive for them to keep running business. So I wonder if they go and shut down these filling stations, is this going to make life easier or more difficult for the average Nigerian? Because then there'll be another scarcity.
Well, until there is an agreement that petrol price should be, pushed up, they have to stick with the government-approved price of petrol. You can't just change your prices randomly because you feel uncomfortable.
Well, so whilst they can't change their prices randomly, and I totally agree with you, because at the end of the day, we all suffer this. Shouldn't there be some form of a meeting point with the government and the petrol marketers so they can find out, ways to, because we've had a number of scarcity issues this year. I think about 2 or 3 times so far.
They should, but until then.
Yes. Okay, so not more than 165, beg your pardon. NNPC Maiduguri gas power plants ready now. Ready November 2022, says Kerry. Katsina, GBA local government witnessing terrorist attack for 3 months. No way. On page 5, IGP convenes senior officers retreat on 2023 elections. IPOB, court rejects Kanu's fresh bail application, adjourned to the 14th of November. Oh, wow. Bandits abduct 3 medical personnel, pregnant woman in Zamfara again. Back to the story. And final story here on the Blueprint. Naira now 614 to the dollar as FX volatility worsens. So, the Punch reported 615. This is 614. So, yeah, within that range, in case you're wondering what the current exchange rate is today. Let's move over to our next paper.
All right, let's go to Zimbabwe and see what we can find on Newsday. It says there actually just very few stories. It says, prepare to retire, Chimasa tells ED. And that is Citizen. It says also the Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC leader Nelson Chimasa yesterday declared that he will rule the country after elections expected next year. He was addressing scores of mourners at the burial of the late constitutional law expert and academic Alex Magaisa at the Mangisi village. There's also pictures of that burial ceremony on your screen there, of course, on the Newsday. Also, knives out from Thuli. You can find that also on the Newsday. It's talking about the opposition political parties demanding that Finance Minister Mthulu Nkube and Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Governor John Mangudia resign, accusing them of crafting anti-poor policies that are worsening the plight of majority in the country. Just one last story that we can share this morning. It says basketball player crowned Miss Teen International Zimbabwe.